Cafe Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Rioch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from Toronto, Canada is Angela Wilson, a champion for women's courage, international best-selling author, international speaker, founder of Angela Unlimited, assist women to transform to a life of whole wealth and to step toward living their unlimited life. So Angela, what are the top 3 things that hold women back from living the life they deserve?
So great to be here today with you, Tom. The top 3 things, oh my gosh, it really is, it always amazes me when I'm working with the women that I work with, of how, we can be successful, we can be doing all of these amazing things in our life, and yet we're still holding ourselves back because there's a spot inside us that we feel we don't deserve to live the life that we desire. So the top 3 things are really, it's fear-based. That's a big one. Fear is a huge thing.
Right.
And it's that fear of not feeling worthy of living. And also that fear comes out in judgment.
Aha.
And because you don't want to be judged by other people. So, you don't want to stand out too big in front of other people. So we dim our lights and we hide who we are. And that's one of the things that I find fascinating working with women is how much we tend to hide ourselves and we don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve. And the big thing that I always have my women do, and this is one of the key things, is to really celebrate themselves.
Aha.
Because as women, we don't celebrate ourselves. We'll celebrate those huge, big milestones or those huge, big accomplishments, because those are the things that most people think society expects us to really celebrate. But we don't celebrate ourselves for all of the other things that we do. And so it's really, celebrating ourselves on that daily basis of, oh my gosh, I accomplished all these things today.
Right.
I actually, and it's so interesting. I recently had a lady say to me, she goes, "Oh, you mean almost like when you were a little kid and you went, ta-da." And it's really exactly that. So how many ta-das can you put into your day? And that's one of those things.
But culturally, and I'm saying it's pretty much everywhere,
absolutely.
women have been put down because of that.
Absolutely, they have been. So what's happened is you've learned over the years, and this is one of those big, and this is why I do the work that I do, is because for many years, and I didn't use my voice, and yet here I am on a podcast with you,
right,
speaking out and really assisting women. I didn't use my voice because I didn't feel that my voice mattered. I didn't feel that I mattered. I didn't even feel like I was living my life at all. I was hiding so far in the weeds, and that's what a lot of women do. And yet on the outside, most people that knew me had no idea that that's what was happening on the inside.
Yeah, but it's a slow process, right?
It is. It really is. And for many people, and this happens to a lot of people, not just women, but I speak mainly to women because that's my experience.
Right.
And it's really about that. You take it on over time. So it's also the flip side of it's not going to reverse in the blink of an eye.
Right.
It is going to be a bit of a process, but life is a journey. And I think one of those things that we end up buying into somewhat is that, because there's all those marketing schemes out there. Oh, you have to have this, you have to have that. And so it's like that instant. It's not instant. Life is a journey. We're not one and done in this, our time on this planet. This is a whole journey. So it's not like, okay, if I can just get to this point, then everything will be okay. If I can just get to this point, everything will be okay. It's the journey, and it's so, so important. And that's the other part. That's another key about really living the life that you desire and that you deserve, is really, really tapping into that journey and really being grateful for that journey. And gratitude.
Celebrate the journey, not the destination.
Absolutely. That is so, so key. And gratitude is a huge part of that. Learning to be grateful for where we are right now, and understanding that where we've been doesn't mean where we're going.
Well, I can see from your site, Angela at one point in time was Angela Limited.
Oh, absolutely.
And on your journey, you changed from Angela Limited to Angela Unlimited.
That's exactly right. And so I chose that name for the company from the standpoint of I needed to remind myself as I was like stepping really out in front of people,
right.
I needed to remind myself I am unlimited. So that I could remind all of the women that I work with, they are unlimited. They get to live their unlimited life. It's there for their choosing. And that's another big key. We need to choose. We get to choose how we want to live.
And part of that choice I see also on your LinkedIn profile, you consider yourself a financial healer. Because back to that point that you already mentioned, women sort of take a back seat to the wallet of life, right?
Oh, they sure do. And, you know, it's really about, so, you know, the financial healer, there's so many women that don't want to deal with money from the standpoint of, you know, there's this whole societal thing about money, and there's so many stories that we grow up learning, and it's, you know, somebody else's job to do. It's not necessarily ours. In my case, it was that, so I am a designated accountant. So in my case, in my household, it was that, well, you should have it all handled because you're the accountant. Well, there's a lot of other things that go on. You know, it's very different in your household from what you do for a living. It's extremely different. And so it's very much, you know, I had all these stories in my head. You know, I grew up hearing that with money, you don't talk about it. Oh my gosh, you don't talk about it. Absolutely, you should. It should be in your conversation because it's part of your life, and it's also what funds your dreams.
Right.
And you need to go after your dreams, and that's another key thing about living the life that you truly desire, is that you have to get clear on your dreams. What do you truly, truly want? What is in your heart?
Well, you remind me of a scene that was pretty years ago. Of in a household, the woman, the wife, the mother, would have her generally a cookie jar filled with bills and coins.
Yeah.
And that was sort of her money. But that was all just her money. The rest wasn't hers. So she would really have to take the change. And part of her life was just accepting the change and not the main bills. So I hear what you're saying. The financial part is also as much as celebrating. You have to understand that you're part of the equation.
Absolutely you are. And it's really also when most people, when they hear the word wealth, they think financial, but it's also about wealth in all aspects of your life. So, you know, it's the wealth of your spirituality. It's the wealth of your health. It's the wealth of your relationships. And those relationships are not just with other people. It's the relationship to yourself as well. How wealthy is that?
And that really should be. You know, how healthy could we be to others if we're not with ourselves? And that's for everybody. That's not only for women.
Oh, absolutely that is. Because, you know, if we're not taking care of ourselves, and regardless of who you are, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't be the best version of yourself to be out there in the world, which means then you're not here to help the people that you're here to help. And we're all here to help others in some aspect, regardless of what we do.
And to that point, Angela, how can our listeners find you so that you can help each other?
So you can find me on LinkedIn under Angela Wilson, and you can go to my website, which is www.angelaunlimited.com. And also, as you mentioned, I am a best-selling author. My book is Living Out Loud, and you can find that on Amazon.
Very good. So I want to thank you for taking part and sharing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was amazing to be here.
And again, for our listeners, it's Angela Wilson, Angela, the last name Wilson. Find her on LinkedIn, AngelaUnlimited.com, and her book, Living Out Loud, on Amazon. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at FOCUSMI.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Till the next time here at Cafe and Networking Podcast.